Hi, everybody. Thank you for stopping by my channel. But I'm come today to bring about awareness of individuals when what you need to do when you're seeking a qualified SAP to be able to process um, your return to duty, return to work. And so, what's going on is that it was brought to my attention that there are individuals who are setting up imposters that are setting up fake scam SAP accounts. And this has been validated and it is true. Okay. Just wanted to put that out there. It's not any fake information. And so, what I did was design this live stream so that we can talk about the steps that you need to take to make sure that you have a qualified SAP. Just because you select someone in the clearinghouse, we just go on there and set up our clearinghouse account and put all our information in there, and we sign and we attest that we are SAPs. However, we don't provide any of our credentials to um, the FMSCA clearinghouse. All right, so we don't provide any credentials or anything like that. And so, in order not to be scammed, you can select somebody in the clearinghouse and they may not be a qualified SAP. But what they'll do is they'll mock an account of a qualified SAP. And so many of us advertise, we have websites, and so there's a lot of scammers out there that will take our information. And sometimes it's just one or two words that are off in the clearinghouse. So, for example, if they pull up my name, Mona Ellis, Mona Mentors PLLC, they may set up a mock account that says Mona Elix, MONAELLIX, just one letter off. Okay. And then they will use my company's name, an address that is familiar, but they'll put the email and everything will be, and the phone number will belong to somebody else. And they are in the clearinghouse. And so most of the SAPs, the only way we're going to know is a, if which a lot of my CDL drivers or my safety sensitive employees, they're smart. They'll call me before they designate me as a SAP. That's the first thing I would do. But that doesn't mean anything to a scammer. So I'm going to give you some steps that you can take to be able to validate that you have a qualified SAP counselor. Step one, okay, you have a right to access for our credentials. What are the credentials the SAP must have? Number one, we must be a licensed professional. That professional can be a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a licensed counselor. All right, but we must have a license. All right, number one. Number two is we must have a NAADAC MAC certification. All right, so we must have a NAADAC MAC certification. You can access for our MAC certification. All right, number three, we must have 12 hours of education for qualified DOT SAPs to go over DOT laws and rules. We have to take this class every 3 years. And so you can access for that information. All right. And so those are some of the things that you can do. Ask the SAP for their credentials. All right. And also, if you're doing video, a video remote session, telehealth with a SAP, it's nothing to be able to show you our credentials and to verify that we are qualified SAP. We can show you all those documents on live video. in your virtual session. All right. If you're going to a SAP office to do your session, make sure that the credentials are on the wall. So when my employees or my clients, they go in my office, I have all of my credentials there, including my degrees. They're all there. NAADAC, the SAP um, 12-hour education certificate, my license, everything is there for clients to see that I am legit. Okay. Another thing that you should ask for, all right, is you should be able to find that SAP in the clearinghouse. So ask for the verifying information that should be in the clearinghouse. For example, my name is Mona Ellis. My company, Mona Mentors PLLC. My office address is in the clearinghouse, and my email address is in the clearinghouse. Have them to verify all this information is true and accurate. All right. So I had a guy that tell me that he met a SAP at a restaurant and he did his assessment, or at a FedEx store and they did the assessment. All right. That is not a HIPAA compliant confidential setting. So that is a red flag. I recommend you do your virtual telehealth, where I recommend that they show you their credentials. I recommend that you go to the office of the SAP, do a face-to-face, which DOT requires us to do face-to-face, right? Where we have our credentials set up in the office where you can see everything. However, since COVID, we're doing the virtual until December 31st of 2022. And so, but we still can provide you with our credentials, validating and verifying that we are qualified SAPs. And so this is how you beat out the scammers. All right. This is how you shut it down, because I'm hearing people tell me that they're paying a lot of money. These services can range anywhere from $400 to $800, depending on the SAP qualifications and all of that, what they're charging. And we want to make sure that you're already going through enough with having to go through the SAP program. But on top of that is having a SAP that's not qualified and that's providing fake documents, which is a federal crime. Okay. And what happens is when you go and work for the company and you let them know you're not been through the SAP program, they're going to contact the SAP for your information. And many companies request our credentials. I've had to give my credentials to many companies, especially the real big billion-dollar companies. They have it all together and they know what they need to ask for. All right. The MROs, the medical review officers, before they give me information, when I call to verify drug test and information based on the levels, they ask me for my credentials. I always have my credentials ready to send and to let anybody see who may want to determine whether or not I am a qualified SAP. So there is some steps that you can take. I'm going to go over them again. Number one, make sure that the SAP is registered in the clearinghouse. When you check the clearinghouse, call the SAP, verify all the information in the clearinghouse, the name, the spelling, the location, the email address, and the phone number. Everything should match in that clearinghouse. Sometimes we can put more than one phone number in there. If there's two phone numbers, verify both phone numbers. All right. Number three, when you meet with your SAP before you start your session, ask for their qualified SAP credentials. If you're in the office doing a face-to-face session, look around, notice what's on the wall, what certificates are on the wall, and if they have verification showing that they're qualified SAP. If you don't see it anywhere, then ask them for validation and verification to say, yes, I am a qualified SAP. And I would wonder, why people would ask me that. But now I see, since I know for sure that there are fake SAP accounts that are set up in the clearinghouse to mimic qualified SAP accounts. All right. It's just one or two things off. All right. They are imposters and we need to catch them and report them. When you find that out, you need to report it to the clearinghouse. When the SAPs find this out, like I did, it actually happened to me. I'll call the clearinghouse and reported the account and let them know that that was an imposter account and that I wanted it shut down. And they shut it down. All right. But that doesn't mean that they can't make another account. So the SAPs may have to continue to check with people and individuals. The only way we're going to know is if the driver call us and verify that information. And that's the first thing that I do when I get a call from a safety sensitive worker or a CDL driver is I verify what information and I verify that they have actually designated me or requested a designation in the clearinghouse as their SAP. I go in there and verify. If I don't see anything, something is fishy. And I let them know. I need you to go back in your account, delete that request, and use the actual account. All right. But if they go ahead and accept that request, you locked in and you can't use nobody. So this is why I'm giving this video, this live stream for people to really, really watch out for the red flags, to bring out awareness, to bring out what's going on in the industry. It is some interesting things that go on in this industry. And I learn something new every day. And so as I learn something new, I'm going to share it with you and I'm going to tell it. Okay? Fake imposters, qualified SAPs. They mock qualified SAPs accounts and they are fake. All right. I have a lot of videos floating around out there to provide you with all the information you need as a professional driver or a professional DOT safety sensitive worker, whether you're Coast Guard, whether you work for aviation, railroad commission, pipeline and hazardous material. All right. It goes for everybody. You're just not in the clearinghouse, but you need to be verifying that you have a qualified SAP before you designate them, before you give them a dime. Check the credentials. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. And see you next time when I got some news.